Court in the United States is currently deciding whether women will face restrictions in getting a drug used in the most common method of abortion in the US while a lawsuit continues. This abortion pill, mifepristone, accounts for more than half of all abortions in the US and is considered safe to use. The justices are expected to issue this order on Wednesday in a fast-moving case from Texas in which abortion opponents are seeking to roll back Food and Drug Administration approval of this drug, mifepristone. Now, the drug first won FDA approval back in the year 2000. So it's been used for over 2 decades, if you can see. And conditions on its use have been loosened in recent years, including making it available by mail in states that allow access. The Supreme Court is not deciding the original case, but whether and how mifepristone can be distributed while the case moves forward. There will be no restrictions placed on mifepristone through Wednesday when there is a ruling. Now, what the Supreme Court decides will define the fate of this drug and of all those women in the US who are opting for abortion. The case will continue whatever the ruling from the Supreme Court is. Let's try and get in a sense of perspective from Crystal Knight, who's a Democrat strategist and joining me live from Washington, D.C. Thank you so much, Crystal, for joining in. Many abortion advocates have feared this moment that the US is facing today, considering the conservative court's decision to overturn Roe versus Wade last summer. But is it difficult to predict what the court will choose?
I think this one is a little bit difficult to predict, considering that, this same court allowed Roe to fall. Now, we do have a stay that Justice Samuel Alito issued 5 days ago. I am hopeful that, this stay continues and that women across this country are still able to use this drug. I think the case is weak on its face in that, the people are arguing that, the way the FDA approved this drug was unconstitutional or it was illegal, but ultimately thousands of doctors across this country have already stated that this is the most safe and viable option. And it has been the law of the land for 20 years. So for the Supreme Court to overturn this would truly seem like it's a partisan effort rather than the legality that they are attempting to put forth.
Right. Crystal, powerful pharmaceutical lobby have warned the Supreme Court in the United States that drug development is being threatened by erosion of FDA powers. How is the abortion ruling impacting FDA powers?
Well, I think, if we start here and say that the way the FDA approved this drug was not right or did not hold up to the legal standards, what is to stop any other group that's either for or against any particular drug from bringing forth a similar case? And it undermines the strength and the ability of the FDA to do their jobs. These are people who have been doing this for a number of years, and they clearly have expertise in the Food and Drug Administration and how they go about approving new drugs that are on the market. And the other thing that we have to remember is that drugs don't get made and approved in a year's time. It's very rare that, drugs are, developed and then they go straight to the open market. Right. There's time, testing, and protocols that take place. And so for a group, an anti-abortion group, to suggest that this drug is illegal and that it is unsafe, it's just false.
That too, after a passage of 2 decades that have passed by. Having said that, this conflict is unfolding across America for weeks now, but nowhere more have we seen the kind of opposition we've seen in Florida, where Republican Governor Ron DeSantis signed into law one of the nation's toughest abortion bans. Should the GOP be concerned about a backlash in 2024?
Absolutely. Most women don't know that they're pregnant until 6 weeks. And so for Governor DeSantis to create, or to sign into rather, a law that would ban abortion up to, after 6 weeks, women don't usually know. And so I think much like what we saw in the midterm elections last summer, or last fall rather, voters will turn out, hopefully across the state of Florida, and say that, Governor DeSantis is not the person that they want really to be nominated for president. We know that he's likely going to announce at some point, but also we see people in his own party already pushing back, not necessarily against that particular bill that he's signing, but just his rhetoric in general. And I don't think that it's good for the country. Nearly 3/3 of this country believe that women should have access to fair and safe abortions in this country. And so to create laws that are further moving, political ideologies
Right.
to the center of this country is dangerous. And it's not helpful for women and people who are seeking abortions in this country.
I'm sure those rifts can also be proven advantageous to the Democrats. Having said that, many thanks to you, Crystal Knight, for joining in on our show today.